Your phone is connected to your headphones right now, or was at some point, through a technology named after a Viking king who died over 1,000 years ago. His name was Harold Bluetooth. He was known for eating so many blueberries that his teeth turned blue. And somehow, his nickname ended up on 5 billion devices worldwide. That story is worth understanding. Most people think of Bluetooth as a kind of short-range Wi-Fi. Wireless signal, connects things nearby, works through walls. Which is roughly right, but it misses almost everything interesting about how it actually works. Because Bluetooth isn't just wireless. It's wireless in a very specific and honestly kind of clever way that took engineers years to figure out. And the name is the part that nobody ever explains. It wasn't a random word. It wasn't chosen for how it sounds. There's an actual reason, and it involves a meeting in a bar in 1996, a dead Scandinavian king, and an engineer who was reading a historical novel at the time. In 1996, engineers from Ericsson, Nokia, and Intel were trying to agree on a single wireless standard, one protocol that all their devices would use to communicate. The problem was getting companies that normally competed with each other to agree on anything. At that meeting, an Intel engineer named Jim Kardach was reading a historical novel about Harold Bluetooth, the 10th century Danish king who unified warring Norse tribes under one banner. Kardach suggested the name as a placeholder, a temporary code name while they figured out what to actually call it. They never figured out anything better. The placeholder became the product. The logo, by the way, that angular B shape, is not a stylized letter B. It's the runic initials of Harold Bluetooth, H and B, overlaid on each other.
It's been on every Bluetooth device ever made, and ancient Vikings' initials. On your earbuds. So how does it work? Bluetooth uses radio waves, specifically the 2.4 gigahertz frequency band, which is the same band used by Wi-Fi, baby monitors, and microwave ovens. Which raises an obvious question. Why doesn't everything interfere with everything else? The answer is something called frequency hopping. Bluetooth doesn't stay on one frequency, it jumps rapidly. Up to 1,600 times per second, it switches between 79 different channels within that band. If one channel has interference, it's already moved on before you'd notice. It's essentially a device that never stands still long enough to be blocked. Two Bluetooth devices agree on the hopping pattern in advance. That's what pairing actually is. It's two devices synchronizing their jumping schedule so they can find each other 1,000 times a second without losing the thread. The range is intentionally short, usually 10 meters for standard Bluetooth, up to 100 for newer versions. This is a feature, not a limitation. Shorter range means lower power consumption. Your earbuds can run for hours on a tiny battery because they're only broadcasting a few meters, not across a building. Here's what almost happened. In 1998, 2 years after that bar meeting, the Bluetooth Special Interest Group, the consortium developing the standard, nearly dissolved. Companies were pulling funding, the engineering challenges were bigger than expected, there were internal disagreements about the technical direction. For a period of several months, it looked like the whole thing would be abandoned and replaced by something else entirely. They worked through it. The standard launched commercially in 2000 with the first Bluetooth headset, a device the size of a small brick that cost $399. By 2023, there were over 5 billion active Bluetooth devices in the world. The technology that almost died in a committee meeting is now in your pocket, your car, your TV, your keyboard, your medical devices, your kids' toys. It's everywhere. Because a handful of engineers didn't quit, and one of them happened to be reading the right book at the right time. Harold Bluetooth unified warring tribes in 10th century Denmark. Jim Kardach thought that was a good metaphor for a technology meant to unify competing wireless protocols. He was right. The king never knew. The Viking has been dead for over 1,000 years. His nickname is on your phone right now.